What I know for sure is that Michael Peterson did not beat Kathleen Peterson to death in that stairway. It didn't happen.
The owl theory is a ridiculous theory. When you first hear it, you really have to get into the evidence in order to understand that it was actually possible for an owl to do this.
Nobody thought of an owl at that time. Everybody just rushed to judgment and thought that this was a murder.
Somewhere during the trial, after the autopsy pictures were shown, that Larry thought that the wounds on Kathleen Peterson's head looked very much like bird tracks.
The only real difference, if you will, between our theory at trial and the owl theory is the initial infliction of the wounds.
The expert witness who said that it was blunt force trauma couldn't explain how many blows to the head would be made by this trident form. And he said, well, I really don't know. It's a very unusual shape. And that's because it wasn't blunt force trauma. It was made by the owl.
When you look at the wounds on Kathleen's head, the theory that a raptor caused those wounds is pretty persuasive.
And in this instance, when it hit Mrs. Peterson, she reached up and all of a sudden she is entangled with this wild bird of prey, a barred owl.
It should be mentioned that barred owls are known to owl experts to attack people out of the blue, unprovoked, with no warning. So the fact that Kathleen lived in a place where these owls are prevalent and she got whacked in the head by one is not far out of the ordinary.
One of the key pieces of evidence was the micro feathers in Kathleen's hands. She had pulled out her hair in order to get the owl loose.
She had 38 hairs in one hand and 25 in the other. All of the hairs were Mrs. Peterson's hairs. What they didn't realize at that time, though, was that on her hairs were microscopic feathers. These owls are one of the only species of birds of prey that have these feathers. They go all the way down their legs to the talons, and it's the talons that we say caused the lacerations which caused her to bleed to death.
It never crossed my mind until Larry Pollard came to my office a day or two before the closing when it was, I couldn't do anything with it.
I think that every single piece of evidence in the case is much more credibly explained by the owl theory than by a murder theory.
Whether an owl swooped down that night when she was outside, I don't know, but it's certainly plausible. But if we had retried it, would that have been something I would have been seriously investigating? Absolutely.